bloody cold. Oh no, of course it looks good. Johnny O, baby.
Nice shot.
So, what is the Quest for the Open? Well, it started out as a pretty simple idea. Could a YouTube golfer who spends most of his time on camera actually make it through to one of the best tournaments in the world, the Open? I'm talking about me, by the way. From the very first attempt, reality hit hard. Playing professional golf is a challenge. The conditions, the pressure, and the people who you're playing against. There have been some brutal moments, heartbreaking, really, but that's golf. You know, it breaks you down, it tests you, and throughout the whole process, there have also been some huge highs.
Nice shot.
Halfway through that throw, I was like, Jacob's behind me, I don't know where he is. I didn't really know where you were. Fundamentally, the Quest for the Open is very simple. I play competitive golf throughout the year against other professionals and document my progress here on YouTube. And we document the... And we show the highs and the lows. And as we get into the summer, take on Open qualifying. If we get through one round of regional, we're in final qualifying. If we get through those 2 rounds, we're in the Open. It sounds simple, however. Comfy bus spelled C-U-M-F-Y. I swear to God. I swear to God. I swear to God. That was how it was spelled. This is Hesketh Golf Club, where the Quest for the Open came to a crashing, horrible end last year. I actually came in to the qualifying with a lot more hope than I had in previous years. I'd played well in comps during the season and qualified for some pretty good events. I'd also won a pro event, and Hesketh Golf Club is a course I actually really like. I'd won a junior open here before and previously had really good scores, so I kind of felt like the stars might have been aligning. But I got to the first tee and I was very, very nervous. Pull hooked my tee shot. It went miles off to the left-hand side. And because of the Quest for the Open series and because the videos that we do, like the crowds were massive. They were all along here. There were already people waiting around the second green, you know, 100, 150 people. And my tee shot went in between their heads. So off the first tee at Open qualifying, I was already absolutely bricking myself. By the time we got to the 18th, I was 12 over par for my worst score of the year. And to be honest, I was just desperate to escape the golf course. It was one of the worst days I've ever had on a links. It was horrible. But the Quest for the Open isn't just about the good moments. It's about capturing everything and learning from those mistakes. And hopefully this year, that's what we can do. We can overcome this obstacle of regional qualifying and get through to finals, but also to play better golf throughout the year. Ultimately, it's a journey, which is, sounds like a saying. Someone said that before, it's a journey. Someone said that before. It's about the journey. It's about the journey. Isn't it a Lindsay Lohan song? The Climb.
Miley Cyrus.
Miley Cyrus.
Or Joe McKelvey.
Which one's Lindsay Lohan?
She was the one who was in Mean Girls and.
Which one's Miley Cyrus?
Billy Ray Cyrus. Well, Hannah Montana.
I don't introduce someone else new.
Hannah Montana. You're too old for this. Isn't you?
The best of both worlds.
So last year, to help me try and achieve the impossible goal, I had something called the Qualigraph. Now this was a list of tasks to try and complete throughout the year, and it was good, but it was way too complicated. And because there were so many things to try and accomplish, big surprise to absolutely no one, a lot of things fell through the cracks. Also, it was difficult to translate what I was doing, practice-wise, playing-wise, give you guys the information to help you try and improve in your own games. And that's one of the essential factors about the Quest for the Open. It's yes about me improving, yes, this ultimate goal, but as long as you guys can come on that journey and improve along the way, that's what it's all about. So this year, my goals are going to be a lot more refined and simpler to follow. So they're going to be broken up into driving distance. Now this is all just about power off the tee and trying to keep it consistent. We have tee shot accuracy, so this is trying to find more fairways. We have approach play, which is absolutely trash. We have wedges, we have short game, we have putting, and something which I definitely need to work on this year, my mental game. So I've got a process for all of these individual pieces of my game, and what I'm going to try and do is each episode make them a focus of one of these areas. So in this episode we're going to be looking at approach play or iron play. Now if I pull up my stats from last year, my shot scope data which follows all my events, my approach play was crap. It was just not anywhere near where it needed to be. And a lot of people do refer to my putting, for example, when I'm in competitions, but I need to be able to get myself closer to the hole to give myself the opportunities to make more birdies. And that over the past few years has really not been the case. So to improve myself in this area, the first part of the process is going to have a lesson. Okay, off to our first lesson of the year with Dan Whitaker. Now, we used to go see Dan quite regular, so he knows my swing in and out. There are a few things that I know have fallen out of whack, so we're going to get those back in line and we'll see if there's anything new which has crept into the swing. I want to try building on what I did last year as far as neutralizing ball flight so I don't get too steep, and also I can hit a draw if I want to. And of course, I want to get more consistent with my irons because my approach play last year was utter garbage. Hello, Daniel.
Oh, mate. How are you, mate?
How are you?
Good, mate. It's been a while. So I'm Dan Whitaker. I coach out at Hindley. I've known Pete probably somewhere in between 5 and 10 years. Obviously when he first started off doing his quest for the Open, we did a little bit of 3D work back then. Then obviously COVID has happened. I've seen each other for probably getting on for nearly 2 years now. I've introduced a bit more technology into my studio, so we've got force plates and things like that that we're working with and 3D today.
Last year I played really well in the middle of the year, so I stopped coming. I was getting a little bit more wide, a little bit more shallow, starting to draw the ball a little bit more, coming into impact a bit more shallow as well, rather than getting steep and digging. Year before I was just struggling to hit anything but a fade. So I just want to be able to hit it with a little bit more of a shallow impact. I want to be able to hit a draw if I want to, but I just want to be able to control it more.
This will basically give me the movement from your upper body, and then the plates you're on will tell me what's happening from the ground. I'll go through that data. The big bit I really want to pay a bit of attention to is your sequencing in the 3D system. Stance is too narrow to start with.
Okay.
It's 50 centimetres, definitely on the narrow side for you. You've basically got 3 rotations that you're creating in the golf swing. Right?
Okay.
So you've got one that's front plane torque, which is effectively this. You've got this one called horizontal plane torque, which is just helps you open up more, rotated. And then you've got one that's sagittal, basically bending you more forwards.
Okay.
Now, this is quite important because if you haven't got enough of this, generally speaking, pelvis starts to invade the golf ball a little bit. You can get a little bit up and out the shot, or you've got to do something through the wrist to adapt for strike. So how this starts to go down here, can you see how yours has got like a tiny little bump at the bottom? Then it goes back up and then it's got a massive peak down there. That peak should be, as that keeps going down effectively, as your left leg should be straightening.
Yeah.
That as it straightens, that's you getting energy into the club. It's you slowing down going forwards. What happens is at impact, your left knee is still so bent outside your foot that you're adapting through your wrist.
Okay.
Which is putting the stress into the wrist. And as you go to hit it a bit harder, make sure that you're not trying to get deep, because that would make you get deep. So then you tilt more, and then you have to do more of this.
Okay.
Your centre of mass is the blue dot, so basically your belly button. Okay, and you're looking at what this red arrow is doing in relation to it.
Right.
Okay, you want to see that that goes backwards, which effectively helps pull you forward in the upper body and gives you space for the arms.
Okay.
Okay.
That's why I love coming to Dan, because it's an education in everything that I literally don't understand. This is great.
Where you are at the top here, as you then start to come down, once this pelvis starts to go forwards a little bit, okay, but that right heel does show a bit where it's coming up off the ground. Okay, so as you start to move that pelvis forward, what it does is drops the club back this way.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, it's a little trap. So you slightly side bend, do this almost a little crunch in here. That's going to hurt that left side of the back. And then to strike it, you stay down with the left knee like that. I've exaggerated this, but you can see the left knee is a little bit bent there at impact. Hands are then getting forward. So you could see where a slight bit of a deep divot had come from. So then, to not have the depth of the divot, pelvis comes in, pulls the club back out of the ground. But the problem is, when you pull the club back out of the ground, you're putting more of this through the wrists because you're using the pelvis in the wrong way. At the top here, I want to see that you're more down and over your left leg with your sternum, with your left foot pushing quite hard towards your golf bag.
Okay.
From there.
So there.
Very good.
Can I start shooting 62 now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I feel like I can do this. If I make contact with the ball, that'd be a different matter. Yeah, to be fair, like the feeling of getting the lead side kind of like straightening up, I think I can get that pretty quick. Bit of bend in the right arm. It's probably the first time I've seen that in a while.
Less going on in the lead wrist. This one wasn't the first one that we recorded with the 3D on. This was your 8 iron. You can see that's quite stacky in the left hip.
Yeah.
Yeah, compared to there.
Yeah.
Consequently, the left knee is more stable. Okay, a bit more space between the knees. Then, as this one came down, okay, see there's loads of angle there, and then you hold onto this a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, see like the shaft's way past where your shoulder is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here.
Yeah.
Getting more lined up. Great, mate.
Like, it feels like I'm probably gonna have to practice. Like, that's keeping the right knee bent, that's fine. But almost like having that,
Yeah.
like that coming, I'm almost gonna have to just like practice that as one movement.
100%. That's
Yeah.
where I think you could do that with simple couple of throwing like slam balls or wall balls, but to develop the pattern really quickly. It has to be one movement. I don't think you can do it in two.
So it's not breaking down those movements
should not be.
individually. It's having the, like I said, the pattern to actually produce that.
Yeah, if you can't do it in one flow, it's not going to come in.
Okay.
As you start at the start, your foot was actually over here.
Yeah.
So you're over the outside of the foot. Well, from there, you can't push very, very well from your little toe.
Yeah.
Okay? Because there's nothing in you. You're having to do it all through sort of thigh and knee, which isn't going to work great. Now, as you're pushing, make sure it comes from this part of your foot. Okay? In the ball and then the big toe. Now you use that to push the pelvis backwards. Now the leg straightens better from the big toe. Because it's called a jumping joint. If you went to do a box jump, you wouldn't do it with your toes off the ground. You'd be pretty cabbage at it.
I won't be doing a box jump, to be honest with you, Dan, but I can appreciate the sense of it.
You pretend to go to the gym.
I do pretend. Yeah. I even film some of it. I think I've got the feeling.
Yeah.
Obviously, doing it at speed's the tricky thing.
Just hit a couple of balls with something there, so that when you go into it, just with the very, very, very edge of your foot.
Yeah.
So when you go into it, don't work up the ramp. As soon as you feel like you've gone into it, move away from it.
Okay, we are done. That's the first lesson of the year. And first lesson back, mate. First lesson. It's good to see you.
Is that it? I reckon it's been probably about 18 months. Mental.
Wow, you can tell the difference. Right. Oh, do I get a coffee?
Different setup.
And we'll see Dan again soon. Okay, that was really good and something which I needed because I've been trying to get some practice in, but without any focus. It's just hitting balls into a screen, and by the looks of the state that my swing was in, it definitely needed to change. So I'm going to get back, going to have some practice, and I also need to plan out how I'm going to do my putting, my chipping, mental game, fitness, everything else. So that was a proper grind on that lesson, and I've been working here in the studio to try and implement those changes. But it's going to be a long process leading up to Open qualifying, and there's going to be 8 episodes in this series, this being the first. And I'll throw up here a timeline so you can know what to expect from the Quest for the Open this year. And it's going to be following that pattern of practice, of competitive golf, but the competitions that we're playing this year are going to be a lot more varied. There's some really, really cool opportunities that I've got as well, which I haven't done before, and I'm already a little bit nervous about, and they will become apparent as the year progresses. But most importantly, I just want to say thank you to you guys for watching the channel, for allowing me to do series like this, and for you guys to be interested, because the premise of this is, yes, trying to qualify for the Open. It's bringing you guys along for the ride, but if you weren't watching the videos, I wouldn't be able to do this. You know, going back to what I said at the very start of this video, this is what I do. You know, we make YouTube videos. You watching pays for Jacob's wages and the other guys back in the office. So without that support, this wouldn't be possible. So please support the Quest for the Open, get involved, get into those comments, tell your friends. I don't know if that works anymore. People talk to their friends while watching golf YouTube videos?
I think so. Probably more than actual golf.
Yeah, so do that. Okay guys, big thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. When is the next episode? When's it due?
Oh, next month or something.
Next month?
I think so.
Is that going to be just after we... And... Oh my God, and it's going to be after the... Guys, it's going to be class. Right guys, we'll see you next time.